Hello there, welcome to Muhammad Ali Travel YouTube channel. My name is Vlada and I am from Ukraine. And today I would like to share my story, to share how I managed to escape from Kyiv, from the war between Russia and between my country, Ukraine. So I'm 24 years old. For the last 7 years I lived in Kyiv. I studied there and I worked there, I lived there, and I was planning to spend my life there, to raise my kids, my future kids there. So by my professional, I'm a marketer, and right now I'm working in digital marketing. I do have my boyfriend, and my life before the war was amazing. I finally decided that I don't want to live anywhere except Kyiv, except Ukraine. With my boyfriend, I planned to build our lives in Kyiv, to buy an apartment there after a few years, to raise our future kids there, and to work there. I travel around the world. I lived in India, I lived in Europe, in Riga, Latvia. I lived in Bulgaria, and I have been in Spain, in Italy, in Sweden, in Austria, a lot of nice countries, but my home is Kyiv, my home is Ukraine. So on 24th of February, my boyfriend woke up because of the call from his brother at 6 o'clock in the morning, and it was very strange because during the whole night, at 12 o'clock I went to bed, and during the whole night I didn't check my phone, but I couldn't sleep, and only at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning I started sleep. I was so sleepy and I finally fell asleep, and then at 6 o'clock in the morning my brother of my boyfriend called and say it started. So my boyfriend, he's Syrian, and for the last 3 years he lived in Kyiv, and he said, Vlada, it started, and at 6 o'clock we started our back, and probably my boyfriend and I was the last people who was not expected the war, because everyone already got ready, everyone had these suitcases in case if something happened, but not us, and all our flat was so not prepared, and we woke up, we started running around the flat, and we grab all the clothes, we grab bags, we grab our documents, we grab money which we have in cash, we grab all those stuff, and we just packed. And then Alam said that my boyfriend Alam, he said, Vlada, just leave this stuff, we will take our bag, and we will come back after a few days to our flat. So at 7 or 8 we went to Alam's brother house, and he lives with his wife and with 3 kids and with his parents. So for next 7 days we stay with them. It was 14 of us in the big house, and it was in the middle to the road to the Kyiv, so it's a bit far away from the city center, maybe 20-25 minutes from the city center, and right near us was Irpin, Bucha, Hostomel, where was such terrible fights between Russian army and Ukrainian army, and we heard it, and all kids which 7 years old, 4 years old and 1 years old, they stay in the basement with their mother, and with their babushka, with their grandmother, and it was very scary. And I have some videos. Sirens was like all the time, and we check our phones, and in Telegram we always check the news, like Kyiv, you need to go to the basement. It's some air forces started and some rockets started, so you need to go to the basement, but the basement was not that big, and it was like only for maximum 10 people. So my boyfriend and I and always stay not in the basement but in the house. And for the first 2 days it was fine, but after that it was really big bombs all the time, boom, boom, boom. And right near us was Grad system, Ukrainian Grad system, and they always like fight back, and we hear this all the time as well. And then we decided to run away from Kyiv. And that time we decided probably to run away from Kyiv, and then we could wait on the west of Ukraine, because in Ukraine on the west, like Lviv, Uzhgorod, all these cities was fine, everything was fine. And we decided, and we packed our bag. We come back with my boyfriend to our flat. We took everything, and then we come back to the house. And the 1st of March we started our journey to the west. It was really difficult to move from Kyiv to some part, because I understood that it is life's not gonna be the same, and I'm leaving Kyiv and I'm living my life there, and I don't know if I will come back or when I will come back. And this thought was really tough, but I was strong. I didn't cry all the time, because near us was kids, and we should be happy around them. We shouldn't show them that we're worried, that we're depressed, or that we are not in the mood, or we're sad. So kids made us like in the shape, we didn't cry. And then we started journey. So it was two small bus where was kids with their father and mother and grandmother, and it was one car where was my boyfriend and I, his sister and his brother and his girlfriend. So it was 5 of us in the car, and so 3 kids and grandmother and parents. So it was 6, 5, 11 of us, and we started our journey to the west. And we drove from Kyiv, from the villages, not the main road, because the main road was fighting all the time near Zhytomyr. So we went to Bila Tserkva. Right now I read the news. Right now I record videos 6th of March, and I read the Bila Tserkva where we went through. Right now it's like nothing there. Russian rockets just bomb everything. I don't know how many casualties there, I don't know. And we went through Bila Tserkva, and we drove 10 hours. It was a lot of block posts, they check our passports, and we drove to Khmelnytsky, and then we stay for a night there, because they have a curfew from 10 o'clock in the evening till 6 or 7 in the morning. So we stay in the hostel. A lot of volunteers there. They ask all the time, if you find, do you need food? We ask for food. We stay in the hostel. It was not that great, but it is a place where we could sleep. And then in the morning we separated. So the family with children went to Romanian border, and my boyfriend and his family, his brother and sister, we went to Lviv, and we drove another 10 hours from Khmelnytskyi to Lviv. Usually it took like 3-4 hours, sometimes 2 hours and a half, but we drove 10 hours from Khmelnytskyi to Lviv because we wait around 4 or 3 hours on the block post. They checked guys, they check cars, they check everything. It's totally fine. And in the evening we stopped in Lviv, and we have friends there, so we stopped in the flat, and then we separated. So my boyfriend, brother and sister, they stayed in Lviv. Right now they're in Lviv, and then my boyfriend and we went to the border. And this is another story. Alright, so on Thursday, which is 6/4/3/2, so on the Thursday, 3rd of March, my boyfriend and I started our trip to the border, Polish border, and we took taxi. It cost 1,500 hryvnias, and we drove from Lviv to border 1 hour and a half, and then we started our journey without cars, so we just walked, and then we saw a lot of people. We wait around 2 hours for the bus who will drive us from the this place where we waited to the Ukrainian border. So we waited 2 hours, and a lot of volunteers, they prepare hot food. And you know, when you spend 2 days in the car, you always eat this Snickers, Bounty, this croissants, this very like not healthy food. And when I saw this rice with meat, I was like, oh my god, thank you so much. It was a happy moment for us. So we ate a bit, and then the bus has already waited for us. So we waited approximately 2 hours, and then we took this bus. He drove us to Ukrainian border, and then we waited another 3 hours in the car, in the bus, and then Ukrainian border policeman just checked our passport. I had my Ukrainian passport, I didn't have my birth passport, and then after that we walked to Polish border, and then Polish border, it was like in the movie. It was a lot of people. We waited, and then it was like the gate opened and we started walking, and I saw clothes, and I saw food, and I saw a lot of people who preparing tea, and I saw a lot of volunteers around. And it was like small tiny town, near, like inside the border. It's a lot of volunteers, a lot of food, and I was, oh my god, I never expected such a hospitality from the Polish people, to be honest. But I was so surprised how they were so helpful, they were so kind, and I never ever thought that I will be a refugee, because I know it's not what I was thinking in my life, and I'm refugee, and my boyfriend is refugee, and we walked a lot of women with kids, small kids, with dogs, with infant, like small babies, and we walked there and we waited for the bus from Polish border to nearest city, which is Tom or something, I cannot remember. And then from that Polish border we waited another 1 hour and a half. So first of all, policemen just took children and parents and their parents, and it was like a priority, children's, women's, and then it was like me and my boyfriend. And my boyfriend, he's Syrian and he has permanent residence in Ukraine, so everything was fine. I read the news that some colored people couldn't cross the border. To be honest, I have no idea what happened with them, but with us was also a guy from Bangladesh, and my boyfriend is Syrian with permanent resident, and everything was fine. She just showed this this document with this permanent residence of Ukraine, and nobody from the Ukraine, nobody asked any question. But so when we was in the bus from this Polish border to near city, we drove through passport control, and I showed my Ukrainian passport, not abroad passport, and everything was fine. I didn't get stamped, but mostly people got abroad passport, and Polish border made Polish passport control made stamp. And when they saw my boyfriend document, they asked to follow them to the room, and they asked some question, and of course I couldn't continue my trip in this bus to the city, because my boyfriend in the police, right, like in this passport control room, and I just waited for him for the next few hours. They asked some question, how you went to Ukraine, what you did in Ukraine, who is this, who is me, and all those questions. And then when we crossed the border, thanks God, I found the guy, Ukrainian guy, who drove us from Polish border to Warsaw. And right now we're in Warsaw. We found a hotel, and this hotel like a bit outside of Warsaw, which is totally fine for us. And right now we're in this hotel. Yeah, so they prepare food for us, they prepared accommodation for free for us, and there's so nice people here, and it's just incredible how great they are. right now I'm waiting for my sister and all my entire family right now in Donbass. It's on the east of Ukraine where all this situation, all this war started in 2014. So I saw two war actually. I saw conflict, military conflict in 2014, 2015, and then I moved to Kyiv for studying, and I saw war, big one, between Russia and Ukraine. We always say that Russia is our brothers, and they will never touch us, and they will never fight against us. But this is totally not true. And my grandfather, he's Russian, and my grandmother Ukrainian, and they never fought, never had any problems. And my family, we speak Russians. We're Russian speakers. I know Ukrainian language. I never use Ukrainian language if I talk with my family or with my friends. I talk in Russian. With my boyfriend, I talk in Russian. He knows Russian, and I never ever feel something bad against me, against my language, against Russian. I never feel anything bad. And we don't need this. Putin said we need someone touch Russian speaking people in Ukraine. I'm the example. Nobody touched me. In university, from 2015, I started my university in 2015 and I finished in 2019. Yes, I studied in Ukrainian government university for free because I was like excellent student, and Ukraine gave me education for free, and there they asked me to talk in Ukrainian. And of course I know Ukrainian, and that was kind of not that difficult for me, but that was like okay. And I wrote my thesis in Ukrainian, and it was fine, and nobody say that you are from Donbass or you speak Russian and just change your language. Never ever in my life. I'm 24 years old, never ever. So my family in Donbass, my sister evacuated from Donbass already. Right now she's on the way to Lviv, and she started her journey from Kramatorsk through Kharkov, Kyiv, Khmelnytsky, Lviv. She's in the train already for the last 27 hours. And my family, my mother and my grandparents, they're in my hometown. They say that we won't go anywhere. And right now I'm in Europe, and all Ukrainians dreamed about Europe, about being part of European Union. But right now, I'm in Warsaw, I'm safe, but I feel so guilty that I'm here and I'm not in Ukraine. I want to come back to Kyiv, I want to live in Ukraine, and I want this war finished as soon as it possible. I feel like a stranger here, to be honest, and right now we're waiting for my sister, and my boyfriend and I and my sister will continue to journey to Germany. We're our friends because it's very, for me it's uncomfortable to stay in this place because a lot of refugees need help, a lot of refugees need this room, so I don't want to take this room for a long time. So we will wait for my sister and we will go to Germany where our friends are. And then I don't know where we'll find our safe place to stay. Every time I wake up and I check on my mother if she's fine, I check on my grandparents if they're fine. And it's my aunt in Kramatorsk. She has two sons. One son, he is 5 years old, and another son 20 years old, and her husband 45 years old, and her husband and his older son need to go to army because of mobilization, and she said that she don't want to leave them. So it's very difficult situation, because all my family right now not in the safe place, and my mother works in the government, and she helps people to evacuate on the west, so she cannot leave her work, she cannot leave her parents, my grandparents, and I just thank God that my sister will be with us in a few days, hopefully tomorrow. So yeah, it's very difficult. It's a very difficult situation, and nobody expected. Nobody expected in January. Everyone keeps saying that it's gonna be war, it's gonna be war, it's gonna be war. But my boyfriend and I, we wasn't prepared. We was so like, we thought that it's not gonna start it. It's just, we live in 2022, we live in the 21st century. Why we need this war? I read the article that Russia spent $20 billion for one day. 20 billions, not millions, billions dollar. So right now they fought against us for the last 10 days. So 10 days we multiply on 20 billions. So it's 200 billions. We could build apartment for everybody for this money, right? I believe that this war will finish. I don't know when, after months or after a few days or after a few years or maybe 10 years, but I just wish that I will never read this article where I see the children who was killed in Mariupol. A lot of children just died because of this. It's very difficult, and I just want this when I finish soon.